Welcome to the Rise of She, the empowering podcast that celebrates the unstoppable force of women. I'm your host, Prita Bolaki, and together we will shatter the glass ceilings, rewrite the rules, and reveal the extraordinary power within each and every woman. Join me as we redefine heroism, demanding the world to acknowledge that the word hero is just an O without her. Discover with me how women can unleash their internal potential, demand equitable pay that reflects their true worth, vanquish insecurities, conquer work-life balance, and embrace profoundly fulfilled lives. If you like my podcast, feel free to connect with me on Instagram and Facebook for an empowering journey like no other. Find me at Prita Bolaki and let's ignite the fire within. Disclaimer. The primary purpose of this podcast is to provide education. Information provided in this podcast is not intended to diagnose, prevent, treat, or cure any disease. Information given in this podcast must not be used in any legal capacity whatsoever, including but not limited to as a basis for expert witness testimony or establishing standard of care in a legal sense. Trigger warning. Some experiences shared in the podcast may be triggering to some audience members. User discretion is advised. Hi everyone, welcome to the inspiring episode of the Rise of She podcast, where we celebrate the incredible stories of women who have overcome challenges to reach extraordinary heights. I'm your host, Prita Bolaki, and today we have the privilege of featuring the extraordinary Lucy Delight, a well-being coach. She lives to thrive. In 1961, after 5 years of grief of miscarriage, she was born from the soil of adversity. Lucy's journey embodies resilience, creativity, and the unwavering spirit of survival. Emerging from a backdrop of hardship and health challenges, Lucy's life is a testament to the power of resilience and the transformating source of creativity. From her earliest years, Lucy's passion for art, music, film, cultivating garden bloomed despite the toughest terrain life could offer. Raised in a family steeped in faith and surrounded by love, Lucy's journey took her through a depth of suffering to the height of thriving. Surviving against the odds, Lucy's indomitable spirit led her to embrace a life dedicated to nurturing creativity, healing, and holistic living. Through her multifaceted roles as an artist, whole foods cook, and advocate for regenerative farming, Lucy has left an indelible mark on all those she has touched. Join us as we delve into Lucy Delight's remarkable journey, exploring her resilience, the power of her creativity, and the profound impact she had on those around her. Prepare to be inspired as Lucy shares her insight on embracing life's challenges, harnessing the power of prayer, and discovering the light within us and against the odds. Our topic today is threads of destiny, surviving the unseen. Lucy, welcome to the Rise of She podcast. How are you doing today?
Wow, I'm after that exceptional synopsis of my 63 years starting from zero. Today, I am resilient, I am joyous, I'm grateful, and I am so happy.
I'm so happy. Thank you for being on the podcast. Lucy, can you tell us about you, your story, of course, and how you overcome obstacles associated with being a woman?
Well, it's interesting because I was brought up with two brothers and I never felt that I had any obstacles as a woman. I thought, I'm just as rough, tough, dirty, fun, vulnerable, creative as my brothers. And I went to a school where it was actually a convent, and it was the founder of the convent, Mary Ward, was from Ireland, and she broke away from the Catholic Church and the Pope at the time in the 1700s and created an education process for women around the world, and always said women in time will come to do great things. So I never really felt that there'd be anything that I wasn't able to do, and it never really crossed my mind that I'd be limited by anything until I left school. And then there was the women's lib movement, and women have to do this and that and burn this, and and I found that really strange. And I've come to know since that was created to actually separate women from the society and enslave them so that they have to go to work and they'd be a taxable person and all the rest of it. But I do know that there are historically lots of different difficulties that women have gone through. And I know from studying law that women are paid much less than men.
Yeah.
And there are so many examples of women having limited positions in our culture because of their physiology of being a woman. But with saying that, look, I haven't actually had children, but I know that's the ultimate power. You actually create life. I mean, it's just incredible. I think women have forgotten that they have this extraordinary connection to the creation and the creative force, and there are the two polarities, and they are one that's just as important as the male polarity. And when women are empowered from a young age, and I think that what you summed up was that I had such an extraordinary struggle that just even being alive was phenomenal, and I never ever take it for granted, or sometimes I do forget, and I get it gets stuck in my mind. But every great ruler that's ever ruled that's been a woman has had, in my opinion, since the Irish days, just extraordinary outcomes. Because I was always shown that women were powerful. I wasn't ever shown they were disempowered. And my mother was an extraordinary actor. And so, I would see this incredible figure on stage commanding language and commanding audiences, and for me she was more powerful than my father, who was extraordinary as well, but not the same sort of extraordinary. And having a grandmother that brought my mother up as a single woman during a period of World War II, which was very challenging, and women didn't bring up a child on their own. In those days, it was seen to be something despised. But she remained a noble woman and had her integrity. And so I had great women, and there was Mushio Kushi's wife, who led the whole of the macrobiotic movement, and there was all of my yoga teachers that were all these incredible women in their 60s, 70s, and 80s who were leading teams of people into their well-being. And so I always had these extraordinary role models. And as for difficulties, I think everybody on the planet has difficulties. And I don't like to women are amazing. All I can say is the rise of she is about remembering you're incredible. It's just to have a life is just like, there's an analogy, one chance in, like, it's a turtle swimming through the planet for 10,000 years, and there's one little life buoy. And for the chance of that turtle going through that life buoy to have a life is so amazing. Like, if you can't remember that you're amazing, then I'm sorry, but you have to remember right now, because you are.
Yeah. So obviously, what advice would you like to share with women today?
Remember who you are. Sit with yourself. Like, it's really important to spend every morning before everything starts going at 1,000,000 miles an hour in that quiet stillness. Remember who you are. Be with yourself. Be cozy. Breathe. Breathing in through your nose, breathing out through your mouth, practicing diaphragm breathing, not any of the 26 other pranayamas or any of these, breath work processes. Just simple breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth. Just being with yourself. And then when you get that rhythm going, you might have thoughts that come in and thoughts that come out, but just keep yourself back onto the breathing. And put a smile on top of it and welcome your moment, the next moment, the next moment. And then when you've got that piece in place, then you can start to dream what it is that you want, where it is you want to be, how you want to be feeling. And it all comes from feeling. And honestly, all the work that I've done over the years, the yoga, the programs, the psychology, the recovering from this trauma, that trauma, it's taken me years to understand that it's really not that complicated. You get out of your head and start to feel that resilient power that's within you, and then create the dream in that space. Like you've got this little dreaming egg. It's called your space. It's not out there. God isn't out there. It's in the ether that we breathe. You have infinite possibilities. Like imagine whatever it is, and then start feeling it until you be that feeling, and then it will start attracting into your life. And this has been my recent experience in a profoundly remarkable way. And you can't push and you can't pull. You just have to allow. And to get to that space where you allow, it's not going to be with a million and one other more information. It's going to be with just being and sitting and breathing and feeling and then dreaming and then creating it in a feeling and then being that feeling. And then you open up your eyes and magically you're in another world.
Yeah. I want to ask you that.
Sounds simple.
Creating, how do you create that?
Well, we are universal consciousness. We are, when you actually understand from experience that you are universal consciousness, that you are infinite possibilities in the form of your created human body, self, gender, name, identity, talent, skills, you create it by allowing it. It's like you've got to just trust that there's a force that it flows to you and through you. And look, I didn't make this stuff up. I've experienced it. A lot of masters have taught it. It's, it creates because you are energetically creating it. And look, I keep saying things are created twice. And this is what Bob Proctor said. And he was one of my teachers. I love his work. First, it's created in the mind, and then it's created in the world. And that's Earl Nightingale. And Earl Nightingale worked with another fellow who was from the Middle East, who was a great sage, whose name is almost forgotten, but he's kind of like the founder of new energetics worlds and so on. But look, it's not that complicated. We've overcomplicated it. Why? Because everybody wants to make money out of the new age. And I'm sorry to say it, but there's a lot of people out there, and God bless everybody. But if they can keep you entrapped and keep you as a student, then they make money out of you. They're not doing it because they're evil. They're doing it because that's the way it is in this world. Everything gets monetized, and it's like, it's not about money. It's about the quality of joy and the quality of contentment that you can experience in each moment. And it could be the smile on a child's face. It could be a dewdrop on a leaf on a tree. It could be watching a plant grow from a seed into a magical cauliflower.
Yeah.
Or it could be that you've actually won a prize because you've actually created a system that's medically going to save someone's life.
Yeah.
Or you've rediscovered the magic potent healing of a herb that can cure a malignant disease, because everything is possible.
So true. Thank you for that. As you know, for me, a Kickassbuddy is a supportive friend, mentor, even colleague who encourage us, motivate us to pursue our goal, help us to overcome challenges, and celebrate our success. This person is someone who believes in us, offers guidance and feedback, and challenge us to push us beyond our comfort zone. And having a Kickassbuddy can provide a valuable source of support and accountability, and can help us to stay focused, motivated as we work towards our personal and professional aspirations. I would like to ask you, who has been your Kickassbuddy throughout your journey? And in your opinion, do you think it's important to have a supporting network, a Kickassbuddy network, to achieve anything in life?
I definitely do. Absolutely. Because most of us are born with disbelief, and you need someone to believe in you more than you believe in yourself. Because if I hadn't had my grandmother, my mother, incredibly strong women of spirit, godmother, like, it's got to be somebody who just goes, oh my God, we've got you. And it's like a relay. There's always been somebody there. And a kick-ass buddy, I totally agree with you. I mean, when I was working at one of the private schools in Sydney, we used to have what they called Friday buddies, and the older girls would buddy up with the younger girls, and they would do these creative critical thinking exercises. And the older girls knew it all, because they've done it, and they're here supporting the child, the younger girls, to go, oh, I wonder what will happen if I throw these 3 objects into the water, which will sink and which will float. And you can see the little ones struggling with it because they have no idea.
Yeah.
And the kick-ass big girl buddies are just like sitting there encouraging them. And as an educator and as a creative thinking advocate, watching that example with those children, those young girls in that school, which was a privilege to be there, and they were privileged to be able to have that kind of of education, because I can tell you the rest of the world's around in the real world, hardly anybody does that. And that from that little micro experience of a kick-ass buddy to the big world, you know, even at law school, you need your big mentor buddies, because they know you don't know what the hell they're talking about with the whatever concept it is, and they just help you to fall down, make a mistake, and learn with the support around you, because the only way we do learn is by making mistakes, expanding our awareness, having the wisdom to know that that's okay to do that. The trauma, the disappointment, or the ecstatic joy of winning the whatever it is you want to put in the modality of what the prize would be, from sports to intellectual to science to any of the, we're so, you know, multiple facets of creative capacity. And you know, I've got a kick-ass buddy, and she's a my business coach now, but you know, she knew that I was making the most heinous mistakes, and she just keeps me on track, but I make the mistake and then I go, and she knew that I was going to have this massive breakthrough, and she was laughing, going, oh my God, come on, you can do this. And I've done it. And she's going, oh my God, Lucy. And she's laughing, and I'm just laughing too, because I was so terrified. And that's somebody who's been through a lot.
Yeah.
And to have a kick-ass buddy like that. And I've got some best girlfriends who have lasted since I was, my best besties. I've known her since I was 23, and she's a really strongly professional woman. And I can ring her any time of the day or night and just run through some scenario, and she'll go, either take it on the chin, or you can do this, or, you know, there's never a criticism with a kick-ass buddy. It's, they hold you to your strength, even though you feel like it's your weakness at the time, because I feel like I'm going to cry, because when you have somebody who's a kick-ass buddy, the power for you to fall into your own power without any there's no agenda, is what I'm trying to say. It's just spirit. There's no price on that. It's just, you know, I could go and tell my grandmother anything, and she would just, sometimes she would be tough with me, but sometimes she was so lovingly kind that it was just so encouraging. And all the way through to the current day. And, you know, the kick-ass buddy is absolutely essential. That's, women need tribes because we get each other. Exactly. And blokes need bloody tribes because they're a different energy. And I'm not going to start talking about the this, that, them, they, thou, us, them, whoever the hell. I can't even go there. That's just such a construct. God help me, I'll probably end up being executed.
But I just love what you said about the kick-ass buddy, and thank you for sharing it. There's no agenda, and that's
nothing.
That's the beauty of knowing that you can call someone for anything, and there's no agenda, and yet you feel that support. You feel like you said, you can do it. You said something earlier, we're born with so much disbelief, and you need people to believe in you. And that's what the kick-ass buddy, like you're saying, it makes much more sense. What I'm doing with the community is to have that belief. I believe in you. You can do that. And that's wonderful. Thank you for sharing that. Obviously, you've been talking a lot about women, about the financial how life is, but based on your experience, what practical advice or what insight you can offer to these working women out there looking to advance their career or to be financially independent? What would you tell them, especially being as a holistic yogi and a creative individual?
Well, I know that there are ways to create wealth, and doing a job and having a career is an interesting concept, because really we're all creative beings falling into these mono stereotype roles, and they're monetized, and they're, you know, remunerated according to the skill, from anything from being a cleaner all the way through to being a Supreme Court justice, and everything in between. And, you know, I suppose I've had the privilege of being able to slip between being around, you know, film producers, entrepreneurs, all women who are just extraordinary. But, you know, it doesn't matter what you do, it's how you feel about what you're doing. Like, I've done a lot of work that's just voluntary cooking, you know, working in ashrams and just doing it for the community because of the joy that I experience. But in terms of career, and you've just got to do what you love. And if it is working in something that's not going to pay you an enormous amount of money. But then again, look at Bob Proctor. He was one of a many people who were just like no money, and then he ended up being from $700,000 broke in
Yeah.
debt to being a multimillionaire within 12 months because he applied certain rules. And I think there are certain principles that exist in the world that we don't have knowledge about, and that's the new education that I know is absolutely essential, especially for women. Look, I mean, I've taught at some of the most privileged schools in the country, and they have career advisors and they have, you know, business management skills and all of these things. But the actual real point of the matter is we are so much more capable than those limited ideas of what we're capable of. So to practice getting into a state of dreaming it and creating it, we're all basically got to start thinking of new ways of contributing to our world today, because we're running out of ideas, and they're certainly crashing into all sorts of walls, markets falling down, housing problem over here, investments over there, everyone's looking to do bits and coins and this and that, and it's like craziness. And I'm looking at it going, oh my God, it's going to explode, implode, something. And I know that we've got the capacity to go into our hearts and work out what we're capable of doing and then contributing to our society in a way that will empower people to create solutions. Because if you can find the solutions to the problems we have on our planet at the moment, and they're to do with food, they're to do with housing, they're to do with all sorts of social issues, from, you know, child abuse of women not being able to get away from this, that, and the other, housing problems. I mean, you just need to know what the problems are, and if you can find a solution for one or any of those, get your boots on and let's get going. And let's create worlds where we can look at a new way of empowering women with their capacity to generate wealth, so that we can support each other's communities to end the rubbish of the capacity. Like, it's the nihilism, it's the dark side of the possibility that's being empowered. And it's just like people are starting to freak out.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be that way. And it's a career. Yes, you can be a Supreme Court judge, you can be a heart surgeon, you can be a professional person, but there's some really profound things that we need to remember. Like, they're the kinds of things that need to be explored, and awareness, increasing awareness made on them, so that we can make the transformations into something that's really phenomenally going to benefit ourselves and generations to come. Not just my generation, but 700 years.
Yeah.
You can't just be that limited. Can we just start to expand the horizon and go, oh my gosh, because that's how the tribes lasted, that were all of the indigenous people in my country, hundreds of thousands of years. American Indians, the Indians, tribes in Japan, all the indigenous cultures had this fantastic social construct. Look at Margaret Mead's work. She discovered a lot of things and brought it into, and then was squashed. But these are the things that we need to remember, the principles of these incredible tribes, and mostly run by women, because the man's out there crashing around with sticks and stones and banging in muscles, but we've got this spirit that dreams it. If you lose the dreamer, you lost the story, baby.
So, Lucy, I'm gonna ask you something, because as you know, we talk a lot and I know a lot about you, but I want this woman to know out there. You said something, you said everything is energy. Everything has a vibration.
Everything.
If women out there doesn't understand that two sentence, how you gonna explain that to them?
Well, that's what's so important about going back to nature. Because when you take your shoes off, and I walk around here with my shoes off all the time because it's just magnificent mown grass, but I used to walk around the city without shoes on because I just don't like wearing shoes. But when you feel the power of being on the sand and there's the waves, and you close your eyes and you breathe and you can feel there's a beautiful feeling in you. If you look at or you can go to the forest and hug a tree, or wherever it is in nature, go to climb up a mountain, there's this dead silence with the snow that is just overwhelmingly extraordinary, and it's so humbling. You know, you look at the sky at night and the stars and the heavens of the realm we're in, and you just, you know, that generates a sensation in you. But for example, that guy who was the doctor who did all the experiments with the water, and he spoke into the water. This is just a very simplified version of it, but he said the word love And then he said the word, I hate you and I'm going to kill you. And he froze the water and then he took it out and he looked at it with a microscope and you can see that the water has a pattern in it. And it's not woo-woo.
Yeah.
It's something that you can see. And there's experiments that have come out recently with you put a piece of metal and you play one of those sound bars, bong, and it zzz, and you put the sand on it and it creates a pattern. Ooh, you put a lower level hertz with rock music, bangity bang, bangity bang, bang, and the sand goes all spiky and horrible, and the harmony. So when you look at patterns in nature and you look at patterns like these experiments that have been done, and there's plenty of stuff on the internet to verify and qualify and explain, and there it is, and examples here on the Instagram. It's all over the place now because people are starting to wake up. But that's the vibration. The vibration is your capacity to get into a harmonious space. Positive words. I love you. I appreciate you. I am enough. You can start to feel a calmness. If you say, oh my God, I'm no good. I'm panicked. I'm stressed. I'm freaking out. I don't know what to do next. Help. You can feel it in another part of your body. You don't need to do a whole lot of science and look at all the Indian beautiful chakras, and there's some marvelous pictures behind you of the chakras and the colors. I love that. But
yeah, I painted that.
oh my God, that's marvelous.
Yeah.
So the vibrational thing is about you getting in harmony in the early wee hours of the morning before everything starts and feeling that beautiful coziness. You don't have to get up and sit up and have a freezing shower and jump around and bang your head and carry on. You just lie in your bed, snuggle. Oh my God, my bed, my feet, my body feels so calm, and then do the breathing, and then just realize it's the vibration of, like, if you go back and back and back and back and back into every cell in the body and you think you're going to go into the nucleus, there's nothing there, nothing solid. It's a delusion. And the dog who's deaf's just hopped out from under the bed because he knows it's true too.
He's acknowledging what you're saying.
Yeah, no, because with his vibration, he's gone deaf. But he can tell everything because he can feel my energy.
Yeah.
We've been together for 15 years and I don't even have to speak. And the dog's like, are you okay? When this stuff was happening before I ended up here, he wouldn't leave my side. And I'm not telling him a story. He could feel, like animals feel it. It's beyond words. Words are a manifestation and they turn into a vibration.
Yes.
But it's something deeper than that.
Thank you, Lucy, for that. And I want to ask you, I know you have been giving advice, but what is the one piece of wisdom that you would share with women facing personal, professional obstacle where they're seeing the world black, they're seeing the world dark, they are like, you know what, I'm not good enough, I can't do that. Navigating through these challenges that, I can't see a way out.
Well, I've been there, and I'm very grateful to know that I've tried to do it the hard way. And I worked on a piece of land doing regenerative agriculture a few years ago, and there was a bloke who was the manager there, and he goes, and I was reconfiguring a vineyard into an edible forest, and it took a lot of structure and strategy and brute strength and all the rest of it. And I'm picking up these giant logs and I'm just trying to put them into the bucket of the tractor. And he goes, Lucy, there's two ways of doing everything, hard way or the easy way. And showed me how to lift the poles in a different way, which made it really easy. And I just wasn't using my back and all the rest of it. And I'd say that to women, there are two ways of doing everything. There's the hard way where you're struggling and you're using your mind and you're trying to be strategic and you're getting stuck in the ideas and your ego and your mind. Or there's the easy way. Surrender, sit with yourself, breathe, and allow yourself to feel the flow of the universe to you and through you. And that's it. And then you start to listen, you start to tune into your intuition. That's what we've got. You can't monetize that.
Yeah.
And it's there from birth. You've got to learn how to get in touch with you in a simple, and everything else will fall into place. I promise you, especially now, because the vibration is so much higher than it was in the 80s. It's so much higher than it was even last year. People are waking up, and the more people wake up, the easier it is. It's like if you're trying to lift something heavy and you're doing it on your own, or you have 6 people helping you lift something heavy, guess what? It's lighter because we're all working together. And that's what we're doing energetically. And that's how it will transcend. More awareness, less action in your brain, more connection to your state. You don't even have to know that the person over there is doing it, because everything's connected in consciousness. You can be on the other side of the world. I feel close to you and you're in Melbourne and I'm in wherever I am. And in the forest on the south of the city. And I feel close to you. And, I can't reach out and physically touch your hand and adoringly give you one of your magical hugs, which are just, by the way, the best hugger in the universe. Thank you. I'm like, oh my God, I finally get to hug you in Sydney at that conference. And I'm like, oh, I love you. You're so gorgeous.
That was amazing when I met you. Oh, if I'm sure if someone listening and know you, they will know the energy you have, the vibration. You really, really live your life every second. And I just love talking to you. You know that or the voicemail you send me or whatever you're doing, you are in a beautiful place. I mean, it's you're such an amazing person, and I'm sure people listening to you will feel that vibration because you talk with your heart. And if they want to follow you, we will share your contact details on the podcast, because I just love the videos, the singing, which you just do some music and so amazing. I mean, I love listening to it. It just brings that energy, like how many, like 5-10 seconds of music and just bring so much smile. Thank you so much, Tracy. Thank you for sharing your incredible journey.
It's my great good fortune to be in the benevolent grace of your awareness. You're so beautiful. And look, working with this process, this program of Rise of She, is just, it is, and we are, and it's going, and it's happening. And then we just, what the biggest trick to this is, when you see it and feel it, it has to be the moment after it's happened. It cannot be a moment before. You have to see it after it's happened. And then be grateful and fill up your cup with your own gratitude and see every single moment, every morning. Think of at least 10 things that you're grateful for. You can only give when you're full.
Exactly.
Having had my life being threatened for 7 years until I was, medically stabilized. Oh my God. I'm just so grateful that I've got my body and my life force and my brain and my capacity to feel and breathe.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Oh my God. A car to drive, food to eat, senses to know, people to meet. Let's just keep dancing, girlfriends.
Yeah. Thank you, Lucy. And to our listeners, thank you for being part of this uplifting episode of The Rise of She. Remember, our journey matters immensely. Stay tuned for more empowering stories. And until next time, take care and keep rising. Thank you.
If you have been inspired by today's episode, make sure to subscribe and follow The Rise of She to stay connected and never miss a moment of empowerment. Join me on Instagram and Facebook, where we'll continue to fuel the flames of progress and self-improvement together. Find me at Prita Balaki. Remember, we are unstoppable forces bound to inspire and empower one another. Until next time, Prita says adios, ladies. Stay tuned for our next empowering encounter.